Ever since Halo Infinite came out, there's been a lot of focus and outrage toward the microtransaction and cosmetic store, and to somewhat of a lesser degree, the poor progression system. Now, don't get me wrong, these are definitely issues, and we've talked about these in previous videos. The store is extremely overpriced, and they're selling us stuff that honestly probably should be included in the battle pass or unlockable in the game. And on top of that, like I said, it is very overpriced. At times you're paying $20 just for an armor coating that is locked to certain armor cores. So in the future, when more armor cores come out, you're not even going to be able to use that coating anymore. Likewise, the progression system has a lot of issues too. You can only progress through the battle pass doing challenges that aren't always very fun. And besides the stuff on the battle pass, if you don't want to buy the battle pass, there's really not a whole lot to unlock, unlike other Halos in the past where you could earn a lot more armors just by playing the game. Now that said, that isn't what this video is going to be about. In this video, we're going to talk about the issues that Halo Infinite is having that I think are much more important, however aren't getting nearly as much attention as the store, the cosmetics, and the progression system are. So let's hop right in, and we're going to start with something that if you're on Twitter or you follow the pro scene at all, you probably know a little bit about. But before we kind of get into the recent story, let's talk about the hacking issue in Halo Infinite. If you play a lot of ranked or even Fiesta, you have probably ran into your fair share of hackers. Some extremely blatant and some that are trying a little bit harder to hide the fact that they're hacking. I don't know exactly all the details. I'm sure Halo Infinite has some degree of anti-cheat, but it really does seem like there isn't very much stopping these players from hacking in any way that they want. On top of the fact that the game is obviously free to play and PC makes it very easy for hackers to exist. On top of that, there is no in-game reporting system. If you ever want to report a hacker, you have to go to the website, provide video footage and all this other stuff, and it legitimately is a 30-minute process just to report someone for hacking. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't like hackers, and I don't think anyone likes hackers. Most people aren't going to go out of their way that far to report a hacker. They're probably just going to get mad, maybe stop playing the game, maybe queue into another game, but they're not going to go through all of that headache just to report someone who might not even get banned. Because might not even get banned is very much the case, as there are some very notable hackers that have been in High Onyx now for hundreds of games. They continue to play games, all the pros know they're cheating, all the High Onyx players know they're cheating, and they're still there playing games every single day, hacking their way to the top of the leaderboard. If you open up Halo Tracker at any point in time, and Halo Tracker does try to remove hackers from the leaderboard as they find out about them, but if you open up the leaderboard at any time, the top 10 usually has multiple, if not 50% of the leaderboard just being hackers. And if you expand that out past top 10 and actually go through and click through everyone's stats and see how many games they've played and check their little rank progression graph, you can make an educated guess how many of these people are probably hacking. Usually they have extremely high KDAs, well past what even pros have, with ridiculous accuracies and just ungodly win rates. And you know, maybe there are some unknown absolute demons at the game, but a lot of these people are probably hacking. And like I said, Halo Tracker does try to take them off the leaderboard as they find out, but more and more of these hackers seem to pop up all the time, and Halo Tracker doesn't always get them taken down. On top of that, it isn't really a Halo Tracker issue. This is much more of a Halo Infinite in a 343 issue. So like I said, even if you go through the effort of reporting these hackers, they probably aren't getting banned, or at least aren't getting banned at any fast pace. So this alone is a problem. Now, I don't know the percentage of players that are hacking in the game, but let's say at High Onyx, 10% of your games have a hacker in them. This is just a complete estimate, and it's just to kind of talk through my point. If 10% of your games have a hacker, but maybe 30% more of your game have players that you haven't heard of that maybe have really good games, or just do something that's a little bit suspect, you're going to be much more likely to also call them hackers because you know how easy it is to hack in the game. And this is kind of a compounding issue. As you call out hacks on more and more people also call other people hackers. And it basically gets to the point where in your head, even though it's not true, you feel like you're playing hackers literally 50% of the time, if not more. And that is the problem when you have a hacking issue that goes unchecked. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where yes, you are playing hackers, but you're also just starting to think that a lot of people that are beating you are hacking, and it even trickles down to lower ranks. Sure, this is mostly an issue at higher Onyx, but now you're going to have mid Onyx and lower Onyx players calling more players hackers than are actually probably hacking, because again, they know how easy it is to hack in Halo Infinite. This all hit ahead this weekend when a pro player for BBG, which is built by gamers, was accused of wall hacking by Druck, who plays on the Kansas City Pioneers. Now, if you watch the footage, it is definitely suspect, although I don't know with certainty if Mines is hacking. However, a lot of pros have come out to say that he is definitely wall hacking, and a lot of people are leaning toward the fact that he has probably been hacking. This is crazy because BBG is not some scrub team that you've never heard of. They went to Raleigh and placed top 16. They placed top 6 in the last Halo Pro series, and so this is a team that is placing in the top echelon of Halo play. And to have a player on a team like that get accused of hacking with some very suspect footage is not a good look for the game, because like we talked about earlier, we know how easy it is to hack in this game. This is also extremely problematic for Halo's competitive and pro scene because currently a lot of it is online, especially with the open bracket of HCS Anaheim being canceled due to COVID and instead being turned into an online qualifier where the top 8 teams are going to get invites to HCS Anaheim. This also goes hand in hand with HCS's current heavy use of online open brackets that seed pro points for everything including lands. So as you see, having a ton of the competition for this game take place online is definitely a problem when your anti-cheat doesn't seem to be doing very much, and 343 has been very silent on this front. Now, as you guys all know, we lost the red crosshair on PC to kind of fight hacking, but it really doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot, as there are tons of hackers in high Onyx, even possibly all the way up into the highest tiers of professional play. And so this is one of the things that I think needs to be the most discussed and get the most attention, is the hacking issue in Halo Infinite. Sure, it stinks that you have to pay $20 for an armor coating, or that you can't unlock the Mark V armor that you want, but at the end of the day, not being able to customize your character to the exact degree that you want to probably isn't going to kill the game. It's just kind of annoying. But if we end up with this massive hacking problem that seems to be getting worse and worse, that will kill Halo Infinite. It'll kill Halo Infinite competitive play, and that'll trickle all the way down to ranked, and eventually as you lose more and more players, and players are even facing hackers frequently in game modes like Fiesta and Tactical Slayer, you are going to start losing more and more players. Now, hacking isn't the only thing that I want to talk about in this video though. The next thing I want to talk about is the bad servers and terrible desync that Halo Infinite has. If you play this game a lot and you play it at a relatively decent level, not even Onyx, if you're a diamond player, you have probably experienced handfuls, if not hundreds of times, where you are shooting someone, you go behind a wall, and you die. That right there is desync. The netcode of the game is still telling that other player and the server that you're on the other side of the wall, so even though on your screen you're behind the wall, that isn't where you actually are in the game, therefore you get shot, therefore you die. This is just the most obvious and common form of desync, but you're also going to run into desync with your melees, where you melee someone, you hear the audible melee sound, but it does no damage, or you shoot a rocket kind of right before you die, and you see the rocket come out and explode, but you die and it ends up doing no damage, and they can pick those rockets up and still use them as if you didn't shoot them, and there's countless other things like that, where what you're seeing on your screen is not what's actually happening on the server, and that is due to desync. And these things will happen to anyone. Even if you have good internet, this is happening to you in Halo Infinite. Now, the next level I'm going to talk about here is something that's a little bit less common, but if you don't have perfect internet, you've probably experienced this, and that is the rubber banding or teleporting or jitter that you're going to experience when you're not playing on a perfect connection. Let's say your connection is a tad bit faulty, it isn't absolutely perfect, maybe you play on Wi-Fi. In a lot of multiplayer games, you probably won't even notice this unless you really dive deep and you know what you're doing, but in Halo Infinite, it is very obvious because the game will jitter your character all over, it'll teleport you behind walls, it'll teleport you from floor to floor depending on what it's doing, and it makes it very frustrating and very unfun to play. And I know the first thing a lot of you are probably wanting to comment is, we'll just get better internet, and that's not really a choice for a lot of people, especially in America. We have terrible internet infrastructure, and so a lot of multiplayer games are built with that in mind. Now granted, there is the absolute terrible internet, and I'm not talking about people like that have internet that shouldn't be played on at all, but this is more kind of your average or slightly below average internet connection. In most games, you can play multiplayer games perfectly fine for the most part with maybe moderate hiccups here and there, but in Halo Infinite, it is constant. You can have 20 or 30 ping on a server and have your shots register like a full second after you shoot them, which honestly makes no sense, and again is very frustrating when you're trying to play. These are issues that are actively affecting your enjoyment of playing the game, and they should be 343's focus, along with a few of the other things we're going to talk about, rather than all of the outrage just be aimed at the story store and the cosmetics and the microtransactions. Now sure, those aren't handled by the same people in 343, at least I hope. You probably have your people that are a little bit more coding or engineering based that would solve these issues, where those issues are probably solved a little bit more at a higher level by just a manager that kind of makes the calls on how much things are going to cost or what kind of systems are going to be in place. But you see so much more outrage toward the store and the cosmetic systems than you do these other issues that are actively affecting all of the games that you're playing in. This goes hand in hand with the crashing that still exists in this game. To this day, Halo Infinite on PC for a lot of players, not everyone, still crashes pretty frequently. If you play this game a lot on PC, you've probably crashed a decent amount, especially recently where people have found that Halo Infinite has a memory leak issue, so if you're playing it for a long time on PC, it's probably eventually going to crash. Don't even get me started on the fact that Big Team Battle is still broken. Now obviously 343 was on their break and therefore it went unsolved throughout kind of the whole holiday season, but 343 is back now, and while it might take some time to fix Big Team Battle, the fact that they're silent on it is a little bit weird. I think they should come out and say they're working on fixing it. Maybe they could give an ETA on when it's going to be fixed, or maybe just say they don't have an ETA, but currently as is, it's just all up in the air. We don't know when 343 is going to address the broken BTB issue or anything like that. Obviously on top of gameplay, we also still have a lack of content that definitely needs to be addressed, but I think the things that I've outlined in this video here are some very key things that 343 should be focusing on fixing, because these are ruining the enjoyment of people playing the game. You got your hackers that are affecting every game all the way up to the highest levels of pro play. You have desync and just bad servers in general that are affecting even your most casual players. You have a lack of content. You have the game still crashing for players on PC, and the fact that BTB, one of the most popular modes in Halo history, still doesn't function correctly is definitely something that needs some priority and needs more focus from the community. While I agree, the store, the cosmetic systems, the microtransactions, I think a lot of our outrage could be better placed at the moment to fix the core issues with Halo Infinite's gameplay that I believe overall affect your gameplay experience more than just your cosmetic pieces or the color of your armor. Now obviously 343 just got back from their break last week, so hopefully we start to see some fixes to these issues soon, because I do think a lot of these things are going to start pushing away players sooner rather than later. And sure, while they might come back after they're fixed, I think it would just be better if they were fixed in the first place, and Halo Infinite could thrive like it should. As always guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think the biggest issues with Halo Infinite today are. Other than that, follow me over on Twitch. I'm back streaming on Twitch Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so make sure you catch me over there. And other than that, follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, join the Discord, and with that, I'll see you all next time.